What comes to mind when thinking of the perfect series of movies? Sure, there's a few out there which are absolute bangers, absolute classics, but nothing really compares to the likes of the Cornetto Trilogy. So, I've decided, after procrastinating since July, to finally make this video. So, what is it about? What am I going to be talking about? And yeah, so this video is, you probably read the title, it's going to be about the Cornetto Trilogy. And yeah, just a bit of background information. I didn't start watching these movies until COVID, and I was a huge fan and still am, hence why I'm making this video. Now, how is this video going to be laid out? Well, I'm going to be discussing each movie. I'm going to give details on the plot, my honest thoughts about each movie, what I like about them. To be fair, I don't think there's a single bad thing about these movies, but we'll see. And at the end of each segment, I'm just going to be saying if this movie still holds up or not, which, is fair. And also, if these films are worth watching, if you haven't seen them before, or if you want to rewatch them again, which either way, you do you. And yeah, so you guys seem to like my CE remake video, where I just yapped about the game and also the Halo franchise for 25 minutes. And yeah, I did a poll the other day where I asked you guys what videos you wanted to see from me, and a lot of you guys, I was surprised by this, wanted to see me discuss more films, shows, games, whatever. And yeah, I figured, why not take an idea which I had in mid-July, and also I wrote about this in one of my English language papers, but that's not important, and make a video about it. Like, the Cornetto Trilogy, over the course of the last few years or so, has made kind of a impact on me. Well, not only am I British, if you watch my vids and such, then I don't even know what I'm saying anymore, but that doesn't matter. So, I'm going to be discussing, as mentioned previously, what each film is about, and also if they are worth your time. So, without further ado, let's dive in and discuss these movies. And before you do that, though, if you go on to enjoy, liking, subscribing, all that kind of stuff would be appreciated, as this video has taken a long while to make, and I'd appreciate all the help. And without further ado, let's dive into the film. Now, Shaun of the Dead, for 2004 standards, is a pretty solid movie, and I'm going to give you reason as to why it's a pretty solid movie. Now, Shaun of the Dead isn't your average zombie movie by any means. Like I say, it's British. Well, this entire trilogy is British, but that's besides the point. So, what is it about? What is Shaun of the Dead about? Well, Shaun of the Dead is about this dude called Shaun, and his life is kind of boring at the minute, and he's not really sure what to do with his life. Like, his days are getting super boring, super repetitive, average Tuesday stuff, if you know what I'm saying. And one day, he just figured, my wife sucks now, and I just want to change things up. But everything goes upside down. Hopefully I'm using that phrase right. Where a zombie apocalypse is unleashed onto London and also the country and the world, I assume. Now, every year, I rewatch this movie because towards the end of each year, I often rewatch the Cornetto Trilogy, which happens to be perfect timing with this video and such. So, back to the plot synopsis. Shaun must, survive. He must help his loved ones, get through the apocalypse and have a nice cold pint and wait for all this to blow over, which actually happens in this movie. Now, you probably know Shaun the Dead, as mentioned, for the infamous Pran quote scene, whatever you want to call it, which is very popular online and is the picture that I used when transitioning into this movie from the intro, which, is rather fitting. Now, what do I think about Shaun of the Dead? Well, obviously, it's a pretty good film. Probably one of my favourite zombie things ever, right next to Zombieland, Dead Island, and such. Now, I haven't seen things like The Walking Dead. I've heard it's pretty good, and I'm going to get around to watching that eventually, but for now, I've just played the Telltale games, but that's not really important. And yeah, so if you're a fan of zombie movies and just comedies and you just want a good laugh whilst the apocalypse is happening in this movie, then it's gonna be for you. And also, if you just basically what the things I've said, and hopefully it'll be for you. I also have this Funko Pop, but moving on. Hot Fuzz. Where do I begin with this movie? Now, Hot Fuzz isn't your average action movie. To be fair, none of these films are average genre movies. But what makes Hot Fuzz the best and undoubtedly one of my top 5 favourite movies of all time? Well, it's funny, that's to be expected. It's crass. Everything about it is done so right, and it's awesome. It's wonderful. It truly is amazing. Don't know why I'm using so many positive exaggerations in one sentence, but hey ho. Now, me being a southerner from England, and I can hear all of you in the comments saying, "Oh, he's a southerner? Oh no!" But the accents that are spoken in this movie, by some of the characters, are inspired by southerners, and I don't sound like any of these people. I'm not exactly from. I'm not exactly from this part of the South, but Hot Fuzz, despite the fact that Funko Fusion massacred this movie, and that game sucked anyway, and the Nicholas Angel Funko Pop is considered lost media. I think. I don't know. I'm trying to find it. I'm trying to get one for myself. But plot synopsis of Hot Fuzz: basically, Nicholas Angel is this ambitious cop who worked for the Metropolitan Police, and he did his job so well that the higher ups in the police force were like, "Yep, you're making us look bad, and you're getting transferred to Sanford." Now, for my American friends, the place where this was filmed isn't actually called Sanford. It's called Wells. I've been there too many times to mention, and yeah, I do have some photos from me being there, and yeah, because I went there like a few days before I recorded this segment, and yeah, I'm probably gonna insert them in at some point just so you guys know what the hell I'm talking about. Now, back to the plot synopsis. After Nicholas gets transferred, he meets all the village people and whatnot, and everything seems pretty fine. And until a series of murders happen, and he basically gets all suspicious. He links 2 and 2 together and realizes that the town are a bunch of murdering psychopaths. So, yeah, that's Hot Fuzz, and be honest, I gotta be 100% honest with you all. This movie is probably one of the best movies that I've ever seen. And that says a lot because I've seen my fair share of pieces of absolute cinema. I've, yeah, I just really enjoy this movie. And is it worth watching? Absolutely. The World's End is a weird movie. Dare I say it? Doesn't mean that it's a bad movie. Let's just clear that up. So, what is The World's End about? So, The World's End is about Gary King, who basically wants to relive his glory days from the 90s by finishing this pub crawl that was halfway done. Let me just reword that. And so his friends have all grown up around him, and he's just stuck in the past, relying too heavily on nostalgia, and just wants things to go back to the way things were. Which honestly, can't blame the guy for that. But yeah, he just wants to have one last ride with his friends before, he doesn't see them again. He potentially will be alone forever. But yeah, so the pub crawl happens. They go to the gang. Yeah, the gang. The gang go to the first few pubs. Everything seems normal until something is discovered, and it turns out, whilst they've been absent from the town for the past 20 or so years, everyone has been replaced. And you want to know what they've been replaced with? Shocker, robots. Well, they're not robots, but they're definitely from somewhere else, which isn't Earth. But hey ho. So they basically continue the pub crawl as normal. They run into a few obstacles on the way, and yeah, a lot happens. I'm not gonna dive too deep into spoiler territory, as I just want you. I just want you guys to see it for yourself, and yeah, that's what this video has been about. I want to discuss these movies and basically, well, not spoil them for you, but also give you an idea as to what they are, what they're about, and so on. So, yeah, The World's End, as mentioned, isn't a bad movie. I've only seen this a handful of times compared to Hot Fuzz, Shaun of the Dead, and every time I watch it, I feel like the viewing experience gets better because, this year I watched it for the for the third time in read up to this video as like a bit of research. Same with Shaun and Hot Fuzz, which. Okay, so I'm currently editing this video, and you know Martin Freeman's character? You know how he's wearing that earpiece all throughout the movie, even though he's not actually calling anyone? Why does he still leave it in? And also, in that scene, when they're walking down the road and everyone's walking the other way, why can't they just go the way everyone else is going? It just doesn't make sense, but hey ho, that's the enjoyment of watching this movie. Recommend it, and also, this is a very dad movie, may I add, but hey ho, these things happen. And should you watch The World's End for yourself? Despite the fact that it's a weird movie and some of the jokes might not land for some of you, I think you should give it a go. Like, if you've seen Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, then you've basically seen them all, and The World's End completes that picture very nicely. So yeah, pretty good movie all around, and yeah, you should definitely give it a watch. And with all of that said, we've reached the end of the video. So, what did you guys think? Leave your thoughts in the comments. Obviously, liking and subscribing, as mentioned in the intro, are always appreciated, as it helps out a bunch. And also, check out the links in the description of... Not in the description, like, also in the about section as well, just so you can support me further and help me stay motivated to make these videos. Now, This video has been in the works since about July. Well, I didn't start properly working on it until like mid-September, but I think, yeah, you get the picture. So, this video has been better to make, compared to the likes of the Combat Evolved remake video, may I add, where the runtime was mostly dominated by the gameplay that was being shown off, and I went off topic mid-video, which wasn't intentional. Well, I mean, it was intentional for like the sake of the video, but let's not worry about that. So, it's been fun making this video. You guys seem to enjoy the last one, where, as mentioned, I talked about the Combat Evolved remake, and yeah, it's been fun. It's all enjoyed this video, and yeah, just if you haven't watched these movies, go ahead and watch them. Like, obviously, you know, watch them in your own time. I'm not forcing you, but if you think that these movies are for you, then I'm pleased, because you know I've done my job, and yeah, I'm happy about that. Okay, so I'm recording this bit, the voiceover, a few days after I recorded that bit, and yeah, the film The Running Man has come out. It's basically like a remake / retelling of the classic 80s film starring Arnie, which you know from the Terminator, and yeah, Edgar Wright's involved in this, and I gotta say, from what I've heard, I haven't seen it myself, but from what I've heard, apparently it isn't that good. But now, obviously, me making this video, I like the Cornetto Trilogy. I also like some of Edgar's other works, including Last Night in Soho, Scott Pilgrim, all that kind of stuff. And I'm just really curious about it. So, also, if you guys have any recommendations for what films, shows, video games, whatever, that you want me to cover next in these types of videos, then I'll happily make a video discussing them. And also, during the time of me recording this part of the voiceover, the channel has officially reached 1.2k subs. Now, you might have seen that post I made about it a few days ago. I don't know when this video is going to be out. Thanks everyone for the support, and yeah, I just hope good things like that can continue. Anyways, thank you all for watching. I hope you have a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye bye.